Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of week again, the last Gift of Gaming podcast episode before 2023's Christmas. And myself and Luke, today, we're going to talk about everything coming up next year. It's me, it's your host, Darren Wade, and today I am joined by Mr. Xbox Games Pass himself, Luke Maycock. Luke, how are you?
I'm doing great, Darren. Thanks for having me on one of the last episodes of the... Is this the last episode?
I mean, I haven't decided on holidays at all yet, Luke. In terms of like what kind of break that we should all take. I mean, I was thinking of a news episode right after Christmas because that'll be the end of December. If people are free, if you're free, we can do a news episode of what's happening in December. But after that would be it. That would be the last episode of 2023.
Very exciting. Well, I'm delighted to be here. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I got excited about video games in 2024 because, like, looking at this list, because I knew there was 3 games that I was very keen on playing because they're at the start of this year. They're pretty much the start of next year. So I was like, okay, I've got these games. These would be great. But having looking at the list of like things releasing in 2024, I was like, you know, it may not be a 2023, but it's still looking pretty lit, you know?
Yeah, we were a bit spoiled in 2023 for sure. And 2022. It's been a good couple of years for games, you know?
Yeah, and especially, like I said, the start of next year, we'll get into it now in a moment, but the start of next year is like, it's an ideal opening of 2024 for me. Before we get into that, Luke, how are you? What exactly are you playing these days? How are you keeping? Any exciting news for me?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Not much in the realm of news. I guess I finally got my Steam Deck, my OLED Steam Deck.
Oh, nice. So
I'm up there with Chris at the moment on the Steam Deck royalty list. And it's wonderful. It's really, really fun. A powerful mobile gaming experience is weirdly satisfying. Like, it's very chill. I know you yourself have been rocking a piece of tech lately, the
amazing
Portal.
PlayStation Portal, which finally for once in my life, Luke, I haven't gone and bought a piece of brand new tech that people were nervous about and it turned out to be shit. This one's actually turned out to be good. It's no Stadia repeat, you know. I haven't gone and done that to myself.
I'm delighted for that for you. But that's pretty much it. I got my Steam Deck, got a bunch of games on it before. One of the big selling points for me on the Steam Deck was I'm one of those people who've participated in Humble Bundle sales and Steam sales for like the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So when I looked at the price point of the Steam Deck, I was like, oh, that's expensive. And I was trying to like figure out justification for it. And I was like, but what if I like bought a PS5 or something like that? And then I thought, if I bought a PS5, I'd have no games on it.
Yeah.
If I buy a Steam Deck, I have at least 200 games.
Oh, your entire library
ready to
point.
go.
Yeah,
exactly. So it became a no-brainer then. So I've been playing a bit of Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And that is such good news to hear, Luke, because myself and Kevin have been trying to convince you to play that game for so long now that, and of course you couldn't, you know, it's exclusive to PlayStation or PC, and you can only do it now that you have the Steam Deck or whatever. But I hope are you enjoying it? I hope you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it so much. It's beautiful. It's just a really tonally pleasant retelling of Final Fantasy VII with obviously some changes. I won't go into spoiler territory too much, although this podcast has for sure gone there before. This has been
nothing but Final Fantasy VII spoilers in this podcast.
I haven't listened to any of the Final Fantasy VII episodes.
That warning should come on at the start of every episode just in case, actually, like, you know.
Spoilers for remaking this. Some of the departure stuff has been really nice. I really like the Jesse stuff. I'd actually heard some people complain about that before. Oh,
because they were like, oh, why are we introducing a third person into the love triangle that already exists? You know, it's a love square. But I was kind of like, oh damn, I was always, you know, not to get into shipping wars or anything like that here, but I was always a team Tifa. Nothing against Aerith, just prefer Tifa. But the remake, I was kind of like, oh, am I Team Jessie now? Is that how this game's gone?
Yeah, she's great, and her story is really good. And getting to see more of Biggs and Wedge was super fun as well, because I loved I know we only got to see the briefest of snippets of them in the original, but there was so much character in that original Avalanche team. Yeah, and then spoilers for the original Final Fantasy VII, but to see how tragically that ended so kind of quickly within the span of the story always sucked. Always was like, I suppose that was what it was intended to do. It was intended to be really heartbreaking, to have these really colourful characters lost in the early stages of the game.
It was quite brave. It reminds me of when I think back on, I can't this can't turn into another Final Fantasy podcast, but it just reminds me of it was a very brave game in terms of the people that it chose to kill off and how regularly it chose to kill off characters in the game. It reminded me of like I think it was Final Fantasy 3 had your rebel group and like the Wild Roses, and I think throughout that game you had 10 or 11 different characters kind of on your team throughout the game. Loads of them just kicked the bucket, which was quite an interesting, like, oh, I really like that guy, but he's gone, and 7 does a good job of that. But I'm delighted you're playing 7. I'm so delighted you're playing 7. What a great game. And like from an action perspective, the gameplay, the battle in that is some of the most satisfying gameplay I've played in a long time.
It is very satisfying, they just really nailed the meshing of the live action and the kind of ATB system. Like that's a great system. I love that so much. I wish I haven't seen really much gameplay from 16, but is 16 similar in how it approaches things? Or is
16 is more of you kind of have a massive set of different kind of hotbars for different spells or abilities, but they're on cooldowns as opposed to, it kind of essentially, the AT bar is a cooldown bar, but each move in 16 has a cooldown as opposed to what 7 does, where you just have bars that you charge, you can do anything with them. But no, 16 is very, very good. I need to get that back. I should lend it to a friend at work. I need to get that back off them because the DLC looks quite good for that as well.
Is that that's not free DLC, I'm guessing?
No. Yeah. They haven't pulled a God of War on it, unfortunately. No, I think they have the 2 DLCs. I think the second pack looks like it's a bit bigger because I think the first one's like a tenner, $9.99, and you can get the 2 for $25. So I'm assuming that the second one that's coming out is probably going to be a 20 quid job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a bit of a bigger one. It looks like it has a big area, so it could be quite cool.
Yeah, that's good. Just the Steam Deck is what I'm doing. Final Fantasy VII Remake, a bit of Subnautica as well. It's gorgeous on the screen. But that's pretty much everything for me. Just a bit of mobile gaming. But what about you yourself? What do you
I'm getting ready for. So I'm going to go and head back home, spend a bit of time with the family, be doing some game with my brother. But it's so good because I just have to bring my PlayStation Portal with me. Don't have to lug the PS5 back home or anything like that. So I recently this week re-downloaded Gran Turismo 7 and Attack on Titan 2. Because Gran Turismo is a kind of a thing that every year myself, my brother and my dad would play. It was a COVID thing for us as well. It was kind of how I'd set it up for my dad because I was living with them at the time during COVID, and I'd set it up for my dad, and he'd go on and chat to my, we'd get on a call with my brother who was over in London at the time, and we'd all have some races. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that. I was playing a bit of that today, actually, get myself back in the swing of things. We play it kind of, I suppose, as legit as you can with a steering wheel and a whole simulator set. So we have the motion controls on the controller, so that's how you turn the steering wheel, and we play manual, like you have to drive a manual as well to the gear. So it's quite, it's as realistic as we could get it without sitting in a whole simulator set. So that's quite good.
That's awesome.
So I was doing a bit of practice today because I don't want to come in too raw, and then apart from that, the Attack on Titan is the other game that I've been playing, and that's I am looking forward to that. It's not the most fantastic video game in the world, but because me and my brother just finished the whole Attack on Titan back, a couple of weeks ago, we kind of said, maybe we could try and get back into this and give it a good. He's finished it. I played a good bit of it, never finished it, but it's up as far as the start of season 3, I think, is as far as the story goes. But very fun gameplay. Done by the same guys, W-Force and Koei Games, the guys who did Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, no way.
So it has that same vibe. That kind of thing where like you're on a map and it'll, tell you, emergency over here, there's events and stuff like that live while you're playing. So I've been playing those two just to kind of get myself warmed up for the returning home for Christmas and playing games with the fam, and that's kind of been me. Those two, and of course Remake. I'm in the middle of 7 Remake, and but say middle, I'm at the very end, and I am 2 trophies away from the platinum. So there's a very difficult on hard mode. There's a very difficult VR boss that you have to beat, and I'm just trying to beat that at the minute. Trying lots of strategies is very, very difficult, and then after that, then it's just to finish the game on hard, and I'm just 1 chapter away from doing that. So I'll do this boss and then play through my last chapter and a half of the game, and then when I finish the game and I get the credit roll, I'll get a platinum trophy for it, and I'm very excited for that.
That's
a lot of work's gone into that over the last couple of months, and really enjoyable work. Like I said, it's been an unbelievable playthrough going through the second time.
Good.
But look, we're not here to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Not again.
As much as Kev and Craig would probably absolutely love that. We're here to talk about our most anticipated games in 2024. And what we said to ourselves was we're not necessarily going to limit ourselves to games that are releasing in 2024. We'll talk about them. There's plenty that I'm excited about. But we'll also kind of look at maybe afterwards games that we want to play in 2024, like stuff in our backlog, stuff that we're kind of just hoping we get a bit of spare time to kick into. Would you want to kick it off first, or shall I with like one of your more anticipated games to play in 2024?
If you've got one coming to mind now, I'd say go for it.
Oh boy, do I, Luke.
Oh, yeah.
Do I ever? Yeah, I've got I'm very much looking forward to Tekken 8, January 26th.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, very excited about that. They've done a great job. I've never been this excited for a Tekken game before. I've always found Tekken games to be a lot of fun. I consider myself quite good at them. Myself and my brothers always played them. Kevin, the podcast, we always do like, Law versus Warring battles all the time. But they took a leaf out of Smash Brothers book, and they literally must have been 3-4 months ago at this stage, started doing announcement trailers for the characters that were going to be on the starting roster. So you got like this 2-minute trailer. Every week there was a new 2-minute trailer of the next character. So they showed Law and Yin and Paul, up to the point now where they've got a roster of 32 characters, and they did like essentially I think they've almost done an announcement trailer for each of them. So that build-up has got me really excited. And then I signed up for the closed beta testing to test the servers and stuff. That was a lot of fun. I was away on holidays during the beta testing, so I came back and only had like 2 days worth to actually give it a go.
Yep.
Seems like a lot of fun. It doesn't work perfectly, but I guess that's the whole point, that you have a beta test and you work on it. That was a lot of fun. But recently they brought out the demo for Tekken 8. Which has the first chapter of the campaign, which I haven't done. I'm going to wait till the game comes out before I actually do the campaign.
Cool.
But they have an arcade and a VS mode, and the game is so much fun.
Good.
It looks like it's going to be great. And Tekken 7 came out years ago at this stage. Like I think we've been waiting maybe 8 years for Tekken now at this stage. And so it's flashy as hell. It's like the next gen Tekken, next gen graphics, a couple of new systems in it. But to get back into a whole Tekken thing, and I literally only last Christmas I played through Tekken 7 with my brother. I find the story mode of Tekken to be just wacky as. It's just silly. Do you know what I mean? It's just a really silly game story mode wise. The narrative is not believable in any way, shape or form. But we played through, we just like sat down and got like, drunk on some wine as you do at Christmas, and we're like, let's play the Final Fantasy 7 campaign. That'd be hilarious. And it was dumb as fuck. Do you know what I mean? But quite enjoyable. And now, because I know what happens, because I never finished the Tekken 7 story, because I thought there's a narrator in it that just does my absolute head in. I couldn't stand him. But when you got half a bottle of wine in you, it's way easier to
just
get into
totally
it.
On board.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I was. So so playing that, and then they have an arcade mode in it. But the arcade mode in it's actually quite cute and quite fun. You have your own avatar character that you run around, and your whole job is to just go into like literal arcades with the little machines, and you challenge people to fights, and it's about working your way up the arcade trail to get to like, I guess to get yourself into the big urban city, to like the big city arcade, and fight your rival so that's kind of a cool story.
Is that in like a pseudo Japan, like Tokyo kind of setup, or is it?
The map looked kind of fairly basic. I don't think they've gone too heavy on the map. It's just more of they had this map on the screen. Now, I can only do the first arcade area. I haven't been able to move to any of the other areas yet. But it's just like a little world map, a big city over here, and I'm obviously country boy on the left-hand side of the map, just going through the arcade trail there. But yeah, you just click on it, you arrive into an arcade with loads of other kind of sprites, these sprites that are highly customizable as well. Like, I can make my sprite look like me, or I could make my sprite look like martial law. Do you know what I mean? Walking around and challenging people on all these old Tekken machines. So it's quite fun, man. It's just a fun way to do it, and again, it's been years, and it's a new gen version, and I'm just looking forward to getting into those big battles with my brother and of course Kev, just to get a new Tekken going. And I never played online Tekken before, Tekken 7. I only did that recently as a warm-up. I was like, maybe I should go online, because online in fighting games, when it comes to Tekken, it's the skill level there's a big jump. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm good.
Sweaty.
And then, it's very sweaty. And there's a lot of juggling. I'm not very good at that, and I hate that. It annoys me a lot. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't play online games, because it just fills me with rage. Yeah. But I was trying a little bit of 7 there recently, and I was doing okay. So I'm excited to kind of maybe get in to Tekken 8 from the get-go and get going online and try to get myself as a better...
Get a rank, develop a rank. Like
real life climb the arcade trail. Like, never mind getting my sprite doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
cool.
I'll arrive at Evo next year.
Love that. Yeah, you'll rock up. You'll win the key to the city or whatever it is you win at Evo.
Whatever it is they do. So that's me. What about you?
Well, I just wanted to touch on that really quickly. That's January 26th. I just looked at the release date. That's so soon.
Soon. It's great. Like, and I'll go into the other games. I won't talk about Rebirth too much, because we talk about that on like a literal episode, Sue Rebirth. But my first 3 months of this year, like, I thought 2023 was an amazing year, and the first 3 months of this year are absolutely stacked. I've got Tekken at the end of January.
Yeah.
I'll have a month to play that before Rebirth comes out, and forget playing anything else when that comes out at the end of February. And then the end of March, I've got Dragon's Dogma 2. So first 3 months, I'm pretty much set, you know.
Amazing, stacked. That's amazing. My big ones, I'm not going to go in any major chronological order. One of my big ones for next year, we touched on a little before the podcast, but Hades 2 is going into early access next year.
Nice.
I would be really excited to join the early access journey. I know that sounds maybe a bit sappy or something, but I was so...
It's fun though. Like I said, I was doing the Tekken closed beta testing and the Baldur's Gate early access. It's kind of fun to be part of the fixing the problems. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't do that. I was never into that when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I'm like, I'll hop onto your early access and see what problems you have. You know,
you take part in the culture of like making the game what it is, and I think it's we touched on this a tiny bit before the podcast, but this whole early access model that's running now, like the way Hades 1 released early access the whole way out. It took maybe a year and a half, 2 years before they got their 1.0 release. Like they signed off on a 1.0 release, which came out on the Switch like shortly after. But there's a great series of documentaries on YouTube called No Clip Documentaries. It's an Irish guy, actually, I think is one of the main producers, and he's the guy who interviews everyone. And they did a series of videos on Hades' development and release.
You put me onto that.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it. Man, that was a great documentary. That
really
was so
good
satisfying to watch, yeah.
Yeah, the one that hooked me first was the very last episode of the series, which was them pushing the 1.0 release to Switch. And it was right before, it was like a month out from the Game Awards or something, and they had to cover COVID happening and then leaving the studio and the stress of them like pressing the button to make it live on the Nintendo Switch store, and then everyone was refreshing the page and nobody could find it on the Nintendo Switch store.
It reminded me a lot of the documentary that did Super Meat Boy and
Braid
and exactly. It kind of had the exact same vibe of this group of people, and you know, and all the problems and all the drama, release date and everything. It was really exciting. Yeah,
and you get to see how much of a labor of love it is for the developers and how they are like. It's so cool and so interesting to see like. These devs that put their hearts and souls into the game are also like, sounds stupid, but they're also just human. Like they press the live button and then it doesn't go live and then they panic. They don't know why.
Let's all freak out.
And they're just like fearing their worst fears coming true and all this kind of stuff. So I was kind of not even that I had FOMO from missing out on that. I got Hades as a post like 1.0 game. I just loved the experience. Like I got it on Switch and it was phenomenal on Switch. So, but no, I'd love to. I liked Supergiant from like the days of Bastion and Transistor. I think they're a really cool small company, and I'd love to. Well, quite a big company now, but I'd love to support them. I'd love to get in at ground zero and like help make Hades 2 into a.
Hades was such a perfect game that I can't imagine they're going to go wrong with Hades 2. And the announcement trailer for Hades 2 was so good. The animation for the Hades games is so good.
That's done. Those trailers are always done by. A guy called Spencer Wan has a studio called Studio Grackle, and the guys at Supergiant reached out to Spencer to do the I think it was the announced trailer for the Switch was the original trailer for Hades 1, and Spencer because they're international, they couldn't hire a person as a freelance, so Spencer started a studio just to make the Hades trailer. And that's Studio Grackle, and he like got like it gave him an excuse to like give his friends a bunch of jobs and like round up all these insanely talented people.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
I love that story.
It's amazing. So Studio Grackle also did the trailer for Hades 2. They did the trailer for Hyper Light. It's the sequel to Hyper Light Drifter. It's like Hyper Light something, but they did the trailer for the second one of them. Yeah. I should really know it. The trailer was so good. But yeah, just there's so much. There's just a really positive vibe around that kind of development of early access where you're giving a core gameplay experience to people and you're letting them participate in the thing they love, which is playing games. And also you're building this experience up around them and around the feedback. And it's just a lot more transparent and honest, it feels, than the way AAA games are still really releasing, where it's, 70 quid up front.
Not even a day one patch is going to fix all the problems of that game.
And there will always be a day one patch because, of course, they're just going to panic. So this seems like a more sustainable model, at least for indie games. I don't see how a AAA game could release like this just yet, but maybe.
I think they should. Well, I mean, it's tricky. Like 2023 was the year of layoffs, unfortunately, in the game realm. Considering, and that's the kind of the weird thing, the black and white, the opposites. I can't think of the right phrase to say for it here. The juxtaposition of it, that we had such an absolutely amazing year of video games.
Yeah.
It was also one of the worst year for layoffs
to
in
be
video game
working
studios.
in the industry. Yeah.
And it just doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I mean, AAA studios across the board are going to have to find a more sustainable way to do things. And like I said, if these guys with Hades are doing it that way and it works, more power to them.
I think it's a great model. So that's definitely my number one for next year is Hades 2. Very excited to be part of that journey.
Very good. My next one is I'm looking forward to it, but also disappointed me greatly when it was announced. We did a couple of news episodes, Luke, when the topics was, and this is back in October, I think. Okay. And the topic was Capcom has an unannounced unannounced game that'll be released by March of 2024, and they reckon it'll sell millions of copies, one of the higher IPs. And everyone was like, it's got to be one of two things: a new Resident Evil or a goddamn new Monster Hunter game. And we were all here like, I think Kev even bet me 100 quid it's going to be Monster Hunter. I must actually call him up on that bet again. Because I was like, well, it could be anything, we could. But I mean, I was sure. I was watching the whole Game Awards show, waiting for that to be announced. But in the days before the Game Awards show, Capcom did a showcase on Dragon Dogmas 2. And I was like, cool. I played the first one when I was in college. And I don't know if it was the fact that I had all these free classes that I wasn't used to, all that free time that I wasn't used to compared to school. But Dragon's Dogma was the first game that I played in that kind of the freedom of college, so a lot of time to play in it. It's a long time ago now, but I remember loving the narrative of it, the story of the Arisen. I love the kind of, it was a bit goofy, but like the races and everything like that. Like you had like walking tigers and, just like really kind of interesting and quite colourful and stuff like that. But gameplay was great because you could choose I'm going to go barbarian, I'm going to go wizard, I'm going to go rogue, and it kind of like basic, like not in the same vein that you have in your Final Fantasy 14 online MMO RPGs, nothing as big as that, but kind of like, you want to be the archer, you want to be the whatever. Really, really, really enjoyed Dragon's Dogma 1, and I watched a showcase for it, and I was like, oh God, I'm so excited about that. I wonder when that's coming out. And they dropped the date being like, end of March 2024, and I was like, funny, that's when Capcom was meant to release Monster Hunter.
And that was it, their out-of-pocket announcement
for their big thing. And that's when everyone was like, well, maybe there's still hope for Monster Hunter. Then we got Monster Hunter was 2025, we got Monster Hunter Wild, still excited about that, but I can't include it in this episode because we're talking about next year, Luke.
True.
And Monster Hunter is going to be possibly 2 years away now at this stage, But Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm looking forward to. Kev made a good point. He watched some of the stuff in the showcase and said he actually thought the game looked kind of crap.
Oh, okay.
Just in terms of graphically and stuff like that, it wasn't all that impressive. But in fairness, Dragon's Dogma, the first one, even for its time, was fairly average. Like, I wasn't blowing me away graphically for the PS3 era, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
And but I still had a blast with it. Like, it was a lot of fun. Storyline was great. And you could, like, it was that thing where you could hire other people to be on your team to do stuff. So they had that kind of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker vibe to it as well that I really enjoyed. So, yeah, I'd say I'm looking forward to it, but it'll be one of those games that I won't buy. I hope I'm learning my lesson. It's one of those games I'm not going to buy day one. I'm going to wait for a few reviews and check it out. But I'm excited for that game if it's good. Do you know what I mean? If people come out and say Dragon's Dogma 2 is well worth a shot, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'll give that one a go.
Absolutely. I don't remember a whole bunch about the original myself, except that it had one of the coolest cinematic trailers ever. I don't know if you remember it at all.
It's not the dragon attacking the beach, is it?
No, I actually can't remember what happens in it exactly. I just remember like the music and the way it was edited was just so baller.
But that's what I think really hooked me on it, because narratively I think I remember the first one being a very, very good game. Granted, like we're talking 2011, 2012 when Dragon Dogma came out, and that was the one and only time I played it. I never went back to it afterwards. Not because it wasn't worthy of going back to, but I just moved on and played other games.
You got
and
the
never exactly. Yeah. So I mean, narratively, it really hooked me, and it was at a time where I was like, "Oh, I'm kind of done playing Call of Duties and FIFAs, and that's kind of what I was into at the time." So I was like, "What is this?" I was really excited about Dragon's Dogma. So hopefully, I think narratively, hopefully it's up there, and it'll be a thing that'll get me on board. Even if it doesn't look great, it still might just be able to sell me by the story it's telling.
That'll be great. Like especially because Capcom is an organization that I have a massive amount of respect for. Like in terms of how they've manage their IPs. This sounds really weird and businessy, but like the way they manage their IPs over the years, they put a lot of love and a lot of real sincere effort into making the Monster Hunter games and the Resident Evil games.
Like
and
Monster Hunter World is an unbelievable game. Like it's probably up there in my top 5 games. If we ever do an episode of what our top, like mine is kind of always kind of changing and evolving, but Monster Hunter World will always be in the conversation for me.
Yeah, true.
And like, and even going back to it now, looks fantastic. What they're doing with the Resident Evils, the remakes, are selling. Like, I mean, Resident Evil 4 was up for Game of the Year, the remake. So they know what they're doing. Yeah, which is nice to see.
It seems a bit like what Square is succeeding at with the 7 remake. It seems that the care and passion that the players have for these properties is as important to them as it is to the players. That's kind of what it feels like whenever they drop something new. So it would be cool to see them expand. Like, they're technically reviving a series from a while back, and I wish them every success. I really hope it's a big launch.
Me too. Just why wasn't it Monster Hunter?
We got the Monster Hunter. That Monster Hunter trailer at the Game Awards was so hype. I was so...
I'm nervous about it though after that trailer at the Game Awards. It didn't look... they've got a good 2 years, possibly up to 2 years of development. So I'm sure it'll improvement wise looks it could get better. In terms of conceptual, I was like, I like all these ideas, the storms and everything like that. But it didn't. Even at that trailer, I was like, this doesn't even look as good as World.
Oh, I thought it did. I thought it was up there with World. I'll have to rewatch the trailer now.
Maybe I need to make sure my YouTube wasn't in fucking 480.
Could have been live. It was a live stream. That Game Awards thing was absolutely insane.
So what about you? What else you got?
So my next one in this, what'll I drop? I'm quite looking forward to. I had to do a bit of digging to even remember the name of this one. But it's from one of the devs that did the Amnesia series. The Chinese Room is the name of the dev studio, and the game is called Still Wakes the Deep. It's like
looks great, and
it looks spooky.
It looks real spooky, and I've been on Reddit a lot, and I'm big into the ocean. Love ocean, love deep sea stuff. Doesn't scare me, but I'm a big fan. It doesn't scare me, so I love the thalassophobia subreddit.
Oh, okay, right.
Where people are just freaking out about the deep sea, and I'm like, this looks amazing. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, this place looks cool, but there's lots of people have lots of images of like people just recording themselves working off an oil rig at the dead of night in the ocean. And it's like, I'm like, well, that is actually, even though it's like lit up and there's people working there and it's populated, it still seems quite haunting. Yeah,
there's something it kind of touches on the same sort of horror feels as, that, like, do you ever look up those liminal space subreddits and like, do you know what I'm talking about? I'll have to give examples of this.
Like areas that are just spooky by nature.
They're kind of uncanny by nature. Like, there's something this isn't really it kind of touches on the same thing with the oil rig thing, but it's almost like there's something somewhat familiar about it. Liminal just means like it's a liminal space is a space that you just pass through. So like airport terminals are a great example. Stuff like that, but something that's like so familiar and yet unfamiliar. I won't deep dive the whole.
No. I get it. Like, I mean, I don't live in an airport terminal, but I know. You tell me, Darren, what does an airport terminal look like? I'll be able to tell you. But I'm not familiar with airport terminals. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. But you could end up in a new one and feel like you've been there a million times.
Exactly.
Before.
Yeah.
It's that kind of creepy, uncanny feeling. And the kind of just the setup of having you on the oil rig, like the way all those spaces are a bit spooky and so isolated as well. Obviously, that like you're out at sea sort of thing. It's a great setup for that. I think the Amnesia games are great. I really like. I've always found that they were kind of one of the first ones that sparked off major success off the back of like YouTube Let's Players doing React video, like Let's Play React videos where they get scared and scream at their monitor and throw off their headphones and stuff like that. Yeah,
this could be another one.
Yeah, and I think it was really a cool. It was a mechanic that hadn't really been done before in a huge way anyway, which was that there's something terrifying out there and you have to hide from it, and there's nothing you can do about, like, you can't fight back. You can't do, you just have to hide and hope it doesn't find you.
It's like me, Colin and Kev, KP playing Alien Isolation.
Yep.
You can't really fight the thing at all. I was just trying to survive.
Exactly.
And I was watching lots of people playing the PC game where you're all talking to each other by proximity chat.
Is that the new one?
Yes.
Lethal Company,
that one. I watched some pretty funny. Junkie put out a new video and I was watching that and I was like, this game is pretty funny. But that kind of stuff, like that kind of that kind of spook where you can't fight what it is you're against adds a whole other level of the fear. Interesting name though, because I've thought about that game a lot based off the trailer looked amazing, and the trailer didn't go into much at all. It just had like this picture of an oil rig and some spooky sounds and whatever else. And I was like, oh, I could get into that. I like the name, but I don't remember the name. I'm like, interesting choice, but probably not going to stick in people's heads.
I think it's a beautiful name, but
I love it, but I keep forgetting it.
Yeah, I can't remember. You know? Like we did,
and
have
like
to
you said, there, Still Wakes the Deep. I was like, oh yeah, great name, but I'm like, I keep forgetting it. You know,
the Deep. Yeah, it's. But I have a lot of hope for that game. Like it doesn't. It's cool because it could be a quite contained game. Like horror experiences, I think horror experiences can always be, and this isn't the case necessarily for like Silent Hill or Resi, but they can always be a bit more contained of an experience because it's so much more intense that it doesn't have to be super long. So I feel like developers with horror games, developers kind of have license to just pack it with like eye-catching stuff and pack it with like really, really intense things.
And if it's, depending on how you play it, it's like Alien Isolation. There's a huge amount of replayability in games of that style. So depending on how they've done this, because I don't think I've seen gameplay of Still Wakes the Deep.
No.
But if it's done in a way that you can just come back and do it all differently, that game like that with great replayability will return back to it. Could be like a good Halloween game for me every year that I come back to just for an easy spook, And
it's actually funny you mentioned Lethal Company, like also a game with a great amount of replayability because the maps inside the structures where you go and collect your loot are procedurally generated. I wonder, this is pure speculation because I haven't researched nearly enough about this game.
Is the rig going to be procedurally generated? That Still Wakes it Deep.
It could be so good because like you talk about generating 1,000,001 story. That's why Lethal Company hit as hard as it did, because everyone has a different version of the same experience playing it, like sees things happening in different ways, but it's still hilarious every time. Yeah, it's a really cool. Lethal Company is made by one person.
Oh,
it's one of those.
What am I doing with my life? I can't even do this podcast by myself.
it's very impressive.
Oh my god. Well, I'll hop onto a game that didn't take one person to build, which should make me feel a bit better. Helldivers 2.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I really hope, I must actually say it to the guys as well on the podcast, for when it comes out, I'm really looking forward to a good, solid multiplayer game that we all sit down to play and come in and out of and have the laughs and stuff like that. We touched on when the Helldivers 2 trailer was released way earlier on this year. We actually, a couple of us re-downloaded Helldivers, the first one, and hopped in and we did like 4 or 5 games. A lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun having a lot of laughs and stuff like that. I'm like, I really could do it like an online game like that with the guys, because we meet up and play Smash Brothers together. But I'm looking for a game that maybe after work, maybe hop on for an hour if some people are about before I sit down for some dinner or whatever else for like a few games to relax and chill out. Helldivers 2 is like looking like it could be that game. The guys seem excited about it, and I'm like, well, the first one was great, and this one seems to be a bit fuller. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of more third person than top down.
Okay.
And again, I think it's pretty much the same recipe, but I mean, listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Helldivers 1, the game mechanics, the game loop worked for me. Yeah. And it's got humor in it. It's a funny game as well. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. Do you know what I mean? It's based off
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I thought so. That's the trailer. Yeah, I remember that. I saw the trailer for Helldivers 2, and I was like, "Oh, this is just Starship Troopers."
Yeah, it's just beat for beat Starship Troopers. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's great. That is a lovely one. Well, I never got I played a tiny bit of it when it came out, but I never got super into it, mostly because I didn't have people near me at the time that were.
It's not, and that's the thing with Helldivers 2. It's not a game I'd play by myself.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think it's kind of got the hook for me to do it on my own, which is why I'd love to get like a group of us and get some Helldivers 2 going in 2024,
Yeah.
Because there's no Monster Hunter, Luke, so what the fuck am I going to do?
What else are we going to play?
Just go back to Monster Hunter World and beat the Fatalis again with Kev and Craig, I think is what I'm going to have to do.
I actually have Monster Hunter World. Oh, I don't remember if I installed it on my Steam Deck, but I have it.
It's in your library.
It's in my library.
You and me, man. I'll download it on the PlayStation Portal. You get it on Steam, and we'll go playing Monster Hunter Portal. Portable.
Yeah, like back in the day, back in the PSP days. Yeah, true. All right, I'm gonna pick the next one out of the list. This one caught my eye. The Wolf Among Us 2 is coming out next year.
Very nice. How long has it been since the Wolf Among Us 1? That game's a couple of years old now at this stage, right?
If I had to guess, and I do because I don't have it in front of me, I think around like 2011, 2012.
Allow me to check Google to see how correct you are. Wolf Among Us, right?
Should I stick with one? Should I just commit to...
What year are you picking?
I'm going to go with 2012. Could be 2013. I'm going to go with 2012.
The man says 2012. Our Wikipedia page says...
I could be way off.
Where's the date? Where's the date?
Hold on. I'll Google it as well.
Oh, what'd you say? 2012?
I said 2012.
October 14th, 2013. You were so close.
God, so close.
A decade, man. Over a decade since we've had Wolf Among Us.
So that's the wild thing. I was so...
And is the second one still a Telltale?
That's the thing. That's what I'm wondering. Because Telltale shut down and then reopened.
I didn't even realize they'd reopened.
I think they did. Hold on. Telltale Games.
As you can tell, we're very prepared on this podcast for what we're trying to talk about.
Man, okay.
Because it was enjoyable. I played the Walking Dead one. I did the Batman Telltale series.
Yes.
And I did the Game of Thrones one. Those were the 3 Telltale series games that I played. They're all very enjoyable.
You did the Walking Dead one, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walking Dead was great.
Just the first part. There's a couple of parts of the Walking Dead one, isn't there? I think I only played the first part. I didn't pay the money for the other ones. There was a couple of
The Walking Dead ones?
Telltales. Yeah, I think they had like a couple of seasons.
I played 3 seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I only did the first
fourth. They were all great. They were all so good. Telltale Games did shut down and then reopened in 2018. So I assume that the Wolf Among Us 2 is what they've been working on since then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the first one was great. It was based off of a graphic novel, which I had never read. But it made me.
But I kind of know it now.
Yeah, well, it made me want to read it. Like, it was so colorful, so cool, so like gritty, and such a cool. Like, you have all these fairy tale creatures, and they have like what they call glamours, where they're disguising themselves as not fairy tale creatures. So they're basically given permission to live in the human world. And you find all this out just through context. None of it's really stated explicitly. Yeah. They're basically given permission to live in the human world, I think, on the condition that they use their glamours, and so they disguise themselves. And the big bad wolf is the guy you play as, who's the detective going around. Like, he kind of pulls on one thread and it just starts to unravel this big conspiracy sort of thing as it goes on. So fun. So, like, to have a sort of a murder mystery thing as the backing for one of those games. Yeah. And especially because, weirdly, one of the things that I think those games did really well, the Telltale games, is like combat, because combat is always really unexpected. Yeah. Very unpleasant. It's very quick time heavy, and you really have to have your head on a swivel. It reminds me a little bit of, did you ever play Heavy Rain back in the day? Yeah.
That other detective one, yeah.
Yeah, the action sequences in that were so intense and so quick, and you knew that it was a very consequential game. So, like, it was really, the pressure was really on. There was nothing easy. There were no refined mechanics that you could, like, practice or anything.
Like, no, you just your pure reaction time here,
see
buddy.
See your pants, see what you can do, kind of thing. And I think Telltale always did action sequences really well. And The Wolf Among Us was one that had a good amount of action sequences, because you'd be following a thread. You're playing as the big bad wolf, who's just known for being a bit of a hard ass, kind of gets in fights and stuff like that, but you don't see a lot of it up front. Then when you get into the meat of it, like, you're investigating one lead, you end up in this bar, and the guys in the bar lock the door on you, and you're like, oh god, here we go. Yeah. And it all kicks off, and just so well done. Like, I think Telltale nailed the tone of the first game.
I'm glad they're back.
Yeah, and I'd be really glad if this was like a huge success for them, because I'd love to see them doing what they do best.
And The Wolf Among Us in 2013, was that their first one in the Telltale series then that they did?
No.
Or was this a failure?
The Walking Dead was the first one.
The Walking Dead was the first one. Okay.
They had a huge amount of success off The Walking Dead. I think they did maybe 2 series of that before they did The Wolf Among Us and Game of Thrones and Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Was that what it was called? Or was pre-sequel out? They did a Borderlands one as well. And it was great.
And there was the Batman Arkham Telltales.
Yeah. Those as well. So they have a great track record. I think I don't properly remember, but I think there was some controversy around what led them to close, which I think might have been like not treating workers great, but I can't.
Come on, guys, be better. If that is the case, that is the truth, be better.
I won't drop that on them. I really hope that they're, that they do their shit well and they make a great game, and that they rise up from the ashes.
Yeah, because I'd love more of them Telltale series. Should have been. Keep them coming.
They were super fun.
My next one's a bit of a weird one, Luke.
Okay.
I don't have a date for a release date of it yet, and it might not even be 2024, but it's slated for release soon. Winery Simulator on the PC. I'm not a PC gamer, Luke, but I'll get this on my Mac for sure.
You'll buy a whole PC for this.
I'll buy for this winery. The reason I want this winery simulator game is because I recently bought for like I think about €3 or €4. It's pretty cheap on the Switch. I bought 100 Days, which looked to me like a winery simulator, but it was more of a winery sim meets puzzle game, and you don't get to build your winery. And I was devastated. I spent a bit of time thinking to myself, because like I studied wine when I was in college and stuff like that. I did my W sets after college, and I was like, I think I could, what if I mix my Cab Sauv, my Merlot, and go for like all the little blends, things that I could think of. And then I was like, no, it's a fucking puzzle game. I can't even mix my grapes, So I was devastated. And then I realized that there's a winery simulator coming out on PC this year. I was like, oh my, this is probably the game that I wanted when I purchased 100 Days,
Very exciting. I don't want to burst your bubble too hard. Do you know if you can play it on Mac?
That is a problem for future Darren
That's
to worry about. Yeah, because that is the problem with PC games, is that they're so limited on what you can actually is playable on Mac. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I started following a game dev recently on YouTube. He's blowing up a bit at the moment.
It's not the guy from Blizzard, is it?
Yeah, Thor.
I love him.
He's great. He's really positive. I like him a lot. But he was saying that in order to the reason a lot of devs don't release on Mac if they're doing like computer releases is in order to do it, you have to own Mac hardware. You have to develop it and compile your game in Xcode, which is Mac's programming software. And then you have to pay for the Apple license. So you have to
every year, isn't it? It's not just the once off. And they say if it fails, you have to rebuild it from scratch again. Like if you try to implement it, then so it works on Mac and it doesn't. You have to start your build over again.
Yeah, you have to basically fix the game in Xcode, which a lot of people don't like Xcode a whole lot. Which fair.
Winery simulator though, coming to a Mac near me, hopefully.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. That's what kind of game is it? Like, do you get to actually build out a winery? Like,
that's what I'm hoping. The information is limited, Luke.
Okay,
but I went. If it's called the winery simulator, it's probably got a better chance of being where you build your own wine and mix your own grapes and sell your shit than 100 Days did, because that was like, oh, you've got this amount of space in your land and you've got 2 days and you're going to make this, so how do you fit these things there? And I was like, this isn't me fermenting wine, damn it.
Yeah,
this is a totally different game.
It at least has the word simulator in it.
And I spent so much time, like I've got 2 cats, as you know, Luke, and I spent a lot of time being like, what will I base my winery off? I was like, the cats, I'll combine both their names to create the estate name, and then the label will be a cat, and it'll be real kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool and sick. So my 2 cats, Ambrose and Margot, the whole place was called the Marbrose Estate. I put so much work into this, Luke, and then it was a fucking puzzle game that wasn't even an enjoyable puzzle game.
Marbrose sounds legit as well. Like,
doesn't it sound like an
I'd
Australian,
buy that off a shelf.
Australian wine estate, for sure.
Definitely does.
So that's one of mine. I hope it comes out on Mac, and I hope it's an actual winery simulator.
I like that one. I'll take another one quickly. I'll go for this one as, let's say, I don't know how we're doing on time, Darren, but I think what'd be cool
if you want to take another one, and then we can maybe talk about some of the things that might be on our list to play for.
Yeah, sweet. This would actually be a good transition one. So this one I'm gonna mention comes out next year. Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons I mention it is not just because it's hotly anticipated, because the Yakuza games are doing amazing these days. It was also because I really want to. I've been threatening to get into the Yakuza games for so long. I've had Yakuza 0 installed on my Xbox for...
How many is there at this stage?
Oh, there's so many.
So many, right?
I don't even want to look it up because there's...
The kind of funny guys that I listen to a lot, I think they did one of them did a playthrough of a couple of the Yakuza games. But I remember them talking about it. I think they did streams of them playing 3 or 4 of them. And they were like, oh, there's still plenty more out there. And I was like, how many is plenty? Like, it just seems like they were a massive series.
I think there's up to like 6 or 7 or something. And there's like the
Yakuza side ones and stuff.
Yakuza 0, which was, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be a prequel. And Yakuza Like a Dragon, which you play as a different character from the series, like a more goofy kind of character. And I really... the best review I've heard of those games recently came from a YouTube creator I follow. Jacob Geller is his name. And he described them, he got into the Yakuza series this year just ending. He described them as a game that somehow manages to just land that sweet spot of the perfect blend of super badass, super cheesy, and doesn't take itself too seriously at any one time.
It's a fun game.
Really fun game, and they're famous for having a million mini games in them. Like there's the karaoke mini game is very familiar. Back on Me Tai is the big song that everyone loves. There's a race. They're basically like a micro machines racing thing where it's like little toy cars on tracks, and you can't go too fast or else they'll fall off the track.
Yeah.
There's one of those. There's fishing ones, of course. They have this RPG kind of mechanics where you can do the weirdest, wildest moves. You can hit people with like orbital lasers.
It's a game that I have seen so much of in terms of trailers or people talking about it. I've seen so much of, but know so little. Like I haven't played a minute of a Yakuza game, and it's one of those things that's always intrigued me a little bit because of the goofiness. I've seen cutscenes sometimes, and like this thing looks like it's wild. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm assuming then what you're going to say to me is your plan is for 2024 is to actually kick off some of the older Yakuza games.
Yeah. So because Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is coming out next year, it's as good a time as any to get back into like dig into the start. I know a lot of the original Yakuza games have remakes of them, like
remasters, I guess.
I think they might actually be like remakes to some degree because it's all updated. Like the models and everything are updated. I think the animations and the cutscenes and everything is just completely updated. I could be wrong there, but so there's a lot of good quality versions of the old games. If you play the original old games, they haven't aged amazingly. I think the first one came out on PS2. That's how long the series has been around.
Clunky as
super
probably.
Clunky, yeah. But I think 2024 would be a great year to get into the Yakuza series,
and please tell me what the hell's going on over there. Do you know what I mean? Like if you do play it, let me know if it's worth a pop.
I really look forward to that. What about yourself? Do you have any series?
I have a couple. I've got one that I want to do so bad, but it's a timing thing. It's just 2023 was just an absolute roller coaster of just nothing but video games coming out. We wanted to play them. I never got to touch my backlog. One of the things I really want to do is a massive fan of the Kingdom Hearts series, and it's been a while since I've mentioned Kingdom Hearts Story on this podcast.
That's true.
My plan was to mention it every single episode, but I backed off on that a little bit. But here we are. For the last 2 years, I've wanted to take the trilogy. Don't mess with Birth by Sleep or Chain of Memories
358.
358 and a half days, whatever the fuck that one is. Don't mess with those. But do the trilogy: Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, and platinum them.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
go through it because I've watched people do the hard mode, and I've playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. I have an appreciation for the hard mode and the critical version of games now. Like I played Kingdom Hearts 1. I recently, I think at the beginning of this year, I tried to log into Kingdom Hearts 1 and give it a crack and start it on critical mode. Very hard, but in an enjoyable kind of way. Okay. And I know that Kingdom Hearts 1 is still a very clunky old game, but Kingdom Hearts 2 is still some of my favorite actual gameplay, even to the date. It still feels amazing, I think, today. And I'd love to try and do that one on hard and just go and do everything, platinum it, explore it all in its entirety and completely, and then hopefully sometime this year as a little celebration, if I do manage to get through them all, I'll get a little nod as to what is happening with Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah, cool.
I feel this might be the year that we'll get some kind of coming 2025, or we'll get a cool release date trailer or something like that this year.
I'd say there'll definitely be a couple of trailers this coming year.
Should be, because there was only one this year at the start of this year. It was even last year at this stage, of that trailer of Sora in Quadratum. But I had a really funny conversation with Kev about it, because we were looking at trailers from Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy, when it was Versus 13 and it had the cool Noctis and everything like that, and Nomura got kicked off that team. I don't think he was kicked off, but whatever, his vision for Versus 13 didn't happen, and I think he was always quite bitter about that. But if you're a person like me who gets into the real nitty-gritty of Kingdom Hearts, and in terms of what's actually happening, what's going on, Nomura is just using Kingdom Hearts 4 to create his vision of Versus 13.
It seems to be the case,
which is so disappointing. But I mean, I'm hats off to the guy. He's he doesn't give a shit what people think. That's what he's going to go and do. The game looks like it still could be what they showed of it on doing Unreal Engine 5 looked great. Do you know what I mean? Actually looked quite cinematic and stuff. I would looking forward to getting through, because I've been talking about that for years, and it's a thing that I'd even love to record some kind of stream of it or something like that. Just me go, because it's my favorite series ever. And I know it's full of holes. But for anybody who starts, I know Kingdom Hearts is full of holes, but they're holes that I love to look at and say, I love those holes. There's a lot wrong with the games. I get it. But my favorite video game character of all time, some of my favorite I watched the YouTube video recently where Cloud and he's called Leon in Kingdom Hearts for whatever reason, but Cloud and Squall are back to back fighting Heartless. It's got all these little moments that the 13-year-old, the 11 to 14-year-old brain of Darren was like, holy shit, this is amazing, and Donald's got my back here, so I'm looking forward to kind of going through that world again. And I've only played Kingdom Hearts 3 once.
Oh, right, okay.
I played through it when it came out, and it was COVID, and I think it was one of those things where there was plenty to play at that time. And I think I got into...
It was a bit before COVID.
Was it the year before?
The year before, yeah, because I played it because I got it was like January 2019.
2019 is the very beginning of the year, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, because I got the flu around the time it came out, and I was like, I'm just going to sit here playing Kingdom Hearts 3 all week. So,
and it's unfortunate because it's got, it's like that. He manages to secure, and Amura manages to secure a huge amount of the Pixar licenses. Monsters Inc. is in there, Toy Story is in there, but doesn't do a whole lot with them. There's a story to be told, but the guy just leaves it all to be told in the last 3 hours of the game, which is kind of crazy. So you spend hours doing, playing the game for nothing. But that'll be me. Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 for sure is one of the things I want to get into. And Platinum as well. I'm big on Platinums now,
Yeah, you're Platinum. You're a trophy guy now.
I'm a trophy guy now. Yeah, that's my thing. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to get trophies.
You're going to retroact, go back through all your series. Love it. Love that. That's really exciting.
Anything else on your list for your backlog?
I'm sure I did write things down. I suppose Sea of Stars is one that has really caught my eye a lot. It's got a lot of positive hype since it came out.
Yeah.
I'd love to just sit down with that and go through, although I have a few RPGs that I want to go through. We talked about this a tiny bit before, but I got one of those retro gaming consoles, the Mio Mini, and I have a bunch of old games on that I'm really enjoying going back through, some older games. So I might try and finish my playthrough of the Earthbound series.
Very nice.
I'd love to do that because that's just really fun, and the music is great and the sense of humor is fantastic. And I have I actually got English translated flashed Game Boy cartridges of it, so I have it on Game Boy Advance in English.
Oh, nice. Okay.
A while ago, I only played through a chunk of the first game, but it was a super fun experience.
And does the Mio Mini have an English version, or are you playing it in?
It doesn't. I only have the only way I could get an English version of it for the Mio Mini, for sure. It wouldn't be super complicated, but I have them on Game Boy Advance already, so I might just do the Game Boy Advance experience, play on a Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, it'd be fun, man.
There's that, and then there's one other kind of obscure game that I would love to sink my teeth into now, but I'd need to brush up my Japanese to play it because there's no English.
Okay.
There's no translation of it at all. It's called Boku no Natsuyatsumi, and it's a super famous old Japanese game just about a kid who spends his summer holidays in the countryside. That's the whole purpose of the game, and it is lovely. It is so beautiful, so relaxing. The sound design in it was done by the same studio that made Gran Turismo, that went on to make Gran Turismo. So they're just so pedantic about they've sourced the types of insects that are in the country to be accurate to the countryside.
Wow, okay.
It's just...
And what year, how old is this game? How we were talking? I mean, I'm assuming if it doesn't, if no English of it exists.
It's PS1, I think.
Right, okay.
I think it was a PS1 game, yeah. I have the emulator of it anyway loaded onto my Mio Mini, but it would be really fun because it's a kid in their summer holidays kind of thing, so the language isn't super complicated, so beginner level Japanese.
Be a nice way to touch up and learn your Japanese as well, because that's what people say when I talk to people who've learned English. We're kind of, unlucky that Irish isn't our first language here in Ireland, but we have English, and which is great because that's what business is done through for the majority of the West or whatever. So when I talk to people, there's how did you learn English? I just watch English TV shows. Or I watch my TV shows in English, with subtitles on in Spanish, but listening to the words. And I was like, okay, and that's movies and TV shows tends to be the way. I think that could be a rewarding and relaxing experience to get through next year. So that's the kind of gaming I want to do. Some more laid back stuff. I'm always a fiend for catching up on stuff I missed. So I have a few titles like that. Some old kind of things. I'm going to take it easy in 2024. Good. I like that. I'm going to finish off with my last one that I want to try and get into is Dredge and or Cocoon.
True. I should have mentioned Dredge. I definitely want to get into Dredge too. I don't know much about Cocoon, but Dredge. Yeah.
Kev and his brother Aidan played through Dredge, and both of them loved it and have been doing nothing but telling me that I should play Dredge. So I went and bought it recently. Aidan will be delighted because he's been you should absolutely play that game, and so I think it might be one of the ones that I'll put onto our what do I even call it? What do we call our games review? We review games in certain episodes.
Games
Club. Thanks, Luke. It's been a while since we've done one, so I've completely forgot. But I'd love to do a games club on Dredge and get Kevin Aiden on. Do you know, get Aiden on for an episode, because he's, you know, like Aiden's been into his Call of Duties and stuff like that. But the fact that he's so smitten with Dredge, I'd be really interested to get his take on what really sold it for him. So yeah, the two of them are on that. And I think my problem, I think I might have mentioned it to you guys when we were hanging out playing Smash the other week. I love indie games, but I play them all through the Switch, through handheld, and sitting down and relaxing. That's how I play indie games. I don't really, like, if I'm sitting down to the TV and I'm turning the PS5, I want to play my Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to play my Baldur's Gate 3. I want to play the big games. And Kev and Aidan were telling me, no, you should definitely get Dredge on the PS5. Like, do it. It's the only way to play it. Like, it looks better. It's crisper. It's cleaner. I was like, but now that I have a PlayStation Portal,
so you can
the handheld indie games, I think I'll get into them. 2024 would be a game where I try out a few more indie games and have the ability to play through them on, you know, in a portable way, which is how I enjoy indie games.
I think that's the way to do it. Like, have the PlayStation handle the processing power and just like project that experience onto the Portal would be like, that's the ideal experience. I talk a bit about Outer Wilds being one of my favorite games of all time. The Xbox One actually struggled to run that when I played it the first time. So that sucked. And it wasn't until I played the DLC, I think, on the Series X, and it ran perfectly. Like, I was so happy.
Yeah.
But there were problems with running it, and that robbed a little bit of the experience from me. I think you're definitely the right call to, like, indie games. They are smaller games kind of thing. That doesn't mean they're like optimized perfectly. And it's, if you have the heavier hardware and you have the PS Portal, definitely get on PlayStation. I think so.
Absolutely, that's how I'm going to do it. Luke, we'll probably finish it there. We're approaching our time on the episode. But thank you very much. Luke is going to stick around, and we're going to do our Gifts of Gaming Battle Royale, the semi-final. Luke. So if you're interested about how our Battle Royale is going with some of our favourite, or not necessarily our favourite, but some of our more beloved video game characters, if you want to know how the Battle Royale is going, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/The Gift of Gaming. And for the price of a coffee a month, there is so much extra content up there. I mean, there are post shows accumulating over the last year, essentially. So you will be not short for content, and we would love the support as well. But Luke, this is, last episode before Christmas. I know I'm going on to the post show, but for the sake of this episode and our listeners, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
And you, Darren. Happy Christmas.
It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. And to our listeners, I hope you guys have a real nice Christmas. I hope there's like some great games underneath the Christmas tree for you guys to play. And as always and forever, please keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.